Fantastic. You've got pole.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three. The owner-driver, Hamilton and Max Verstappen. With It's race day here at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, a track that's certainly seen its fair share of electrifying races over the past years. And there are no doubts that today's race will be just as brilliant. It's a sellout crowd of 140,000 here today as we await lights out for the 730-metre sprint down to turn 1 of this 2.9-mile racetrack. Overtaking is challenging through these 16 corners, but there's still a lot of high-speed excitement to be found, including the flat-out turn 3 and the terrifying blind right of turn 9. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here today, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
But from the moment qualifying's over, you start to feel the adrenaline in your body build up and the buzz in your stomach as you anticipate the run down into turn 1. It's all a bit like going into battle, and the unknown situation makes you nervous. Those pre-race nerves are a good thing. The day you don't have them means that you don't care anymore. And of course you have to make sure that all the procedures are second nature to you, so that they're not taking up too much of your capacity.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. It's the owner-driver in pole position then, and Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Gasly, Ayrton Senna and Leclerc, Bottas, Norris, Vettel and Fernando Alonso, Perez, Mick Schumacher, Kimi Raikkonen and Giovinazzi, Ricciardo, Russell, Carlos Sainz and Esteban Ocon, Tsunoda, Stroll, Latifi and Nikita Mazepin. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
OK, DRS is now available.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
We're leading our teammate by 4.3 seconds.
This is your final lap of the race. Great job. You've done everything we wanted today.
You can't fault the performance on the track today. A well-deserved victory. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Here comes your top three making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One. And the championship leaders secured more points today, pushing their lead out even further at the top of the standings. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
I'm going to give it to the owner-driver today. They fought so hard and had incredible pace at times, so I don't think anyone else did a better job today.
Let's move on to the constructors. The current leaders continue to extend their lead at the top. Meanwhile, Alpine move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport, but with more races lined up.
What happened? Let me know you're okay.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Verstappen. You can feel the tension in the air as we move into race day here at Monaco. It's a track that requires the full concentration of the drivers with zero margin for error. It tests their skills to the absolute limits, so no wonder it remains a fan favourite. The astonishing Circuit de Monaco is, for all intents and purposes, virtually unchanged since its inaugural race back in 1929. The faster cars of today, though, ensure the 19 corners past the casino and along the seafront remain as thrilling as ever. A 2.1-mile lap here takes us around an entire country, yet never more than inches from the race-ending barriers. And a warm welcome, of course, to my co-commentator here today, someone of tremendous experience and insight. it's the man himself, Anthony Davidson. Why don't we kick off by discussing Max Verstappen?
Well, it was a really impressive lap in qualifying to get pole position, but are they going to be able to hold on to the lead into the first corner with so many quick starters around them? And let's see who's able to keep their tyres in that temperature sweet spot early on. You've got a great tyre warmer underneath your right foot, and the drivers need to make the most of that on the formation lap, lest they see themselves skating wide at turn 1 on cold rubber.
Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he starts from pole position. And it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Senna, Valtteri Bottas, and Gasly, Leclerc, Vettel, Fernando Alonso, and Sergio Perez, Raikkonen, Mick Schumacher, Daniel Ricciardo, and Russell, Sainz, Tsunoda, Esteban Ocon, and Antonio Giovinazzi, Stroll, Latifi, Mazepin, and the owner driver. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option. Are you okay? That was a nasty hit. Turn the engine off and wait for the marshals.
They've done it then. They've won here in Monaco with an emphatic performance and a victory they can be proud of for years to come. So, Anthony, what made the difference out there today? Mercedes are on top form once again. This result narrows the gap between our championship leader and the rest of the standings. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
It's got to be Lewis Hamilton. I mean, he pulled off some impressive feats out on the track today, even by his standards.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. Another team that will be satisfied with this Grand Prix